Today we're going to find out exactly what happens to EV's efficiency at 50 mile an hour, 60, 70 and even 80 mile per hour. I'm going to run this test loop on the A1, which is my nearest dual carriageway. Ever since I picked up the 2026 rear-wheel drive Tesla Model Y, I've had this feeling in the back of my mind, this is not as efficient as it should be. Now, that might sound dramatic, but when you've previously driven 60,000 miles in a performance Model Y, and you know exactly what kind of numbers to expect from that, you notice when something feels off. My current average in the rear-wheel drive is 319 watt-hours per mile, and that's over 1,100 miles. And the weird part is that is identical to what I averaged in my old performance Model Y. Same number, different car, rear-wheel drive only, that is supposed to be significantly more efficient. So today, I'm doing these varied speed tests to find out what is going on, but for context, the longest journey I've done so far in this car is 30 miles, one way. Most of my driving is nursery runs and quick trips to Edinburgh. My daily average is about 19 miles. And if you live in Scotland in winter, you already know what that means. A cold battery, cabin heating up, and the car barely has a chance to warm before you stop. That and my 1.5 miles uphill to get to the dual carriageway, which really ups that average. Short trips absolutely destroy efficiency, so now we're doing something about it. I'm heading out for a proper test, a longer drive, a controlled loop, and we're going to find out what actually happens at 50 mile an hour, 60 mile an hour, 70 mile an hour, and 80 mile an hour, which I don't recommend and purely for science, but we all know someone who does. I'm starting at McMary Services. Handy little spot with a Tesla supercharger, and I'm driving a consistent out and back loop to even out the elevation and wind. Same stretch of road, reset the trip each time, and accelerate the same way, regen at the same point, and back up to speed on the slip road. As close to science as we're going to get today. First, 15 miles out and 15 miles back. This will give me a baseline at 50 mile an hour. The result? 22.87 watt-hours per mile. That's already dramatically better than my 319 average. Second is a shorter loop, as I don't have all day or a huge battery. This was 222.7 watt-hours per mile, which is only a 1.7% difference. That's basically margin error territory. If anything, it's probably lower because everything's warmer by now. So we've established something important. At a steady 50 mile an hour, this car is very efficient. Now, let's talk time. If you average 50 mile an hour over 200 miles, that journey would take 4 hours. Realistically, you could probably average very close to that if you committed to it. No one is getting in your way. But 4 hours in a car feels long, especially in the UK, where you're used to driving at 70 mile an hour. So, yes, hyper efficient, but expensive for time. 60 mile an hour. Costs more, but feels a bit more normal. The result, 249.9 watt-hours per mile. That's an 11.2% increase in energy usage over 50 mile an hour. Now, here's where it gets interesting. At a genuine 60 mile an hour average for 200 miles, you're looking at 3 hours 20 minutes. So compared to 50 mile an hour, you've saved 40 minutes. 40 minutes for 11% energy penalty. That feels like a reasonable trade-off. And in real world, averaging 60 mile an hour on UK motorways is easily achievable. This might already be the sweet spot for most people. 70 mile an hour, and this is the big jump. Result, 302.2 watt-hours per mile. That's a massive 34.5% increase compared to 50 mile an hour. Now again, let's look at the time. A true 70 mile an hour average would take 2 hours, 51 minutes. So compared to 60 mile an hour, you've just saved 29 minutes. Compared to 50 mile an hour, that's an hour and 9 minutes. But look at the trade-off. You've increased energy usage by a quarter compared to 50 mile an hour for a quarter saved in time. This is where aerodynamic drag really starts dominating. The time savings are starting to shrink and the energy penalty is accelerating, and this is assuming you can average 70 mile an hour. Now, 80 mile an hour. First of all, it's hard to maintain. Other traffic, speed cameras, common sense, the law. But it's worth knowing, because plenty of people do sit around that speed. And the result? 63% higher energy usage than 50 mile an hour at 366.2 watt hours per mile. Now here's the reality check. Even if you think you're cruising 80 mile an hour, you are very unlikely to average 80 mile per hour over 200 miles in the UK. But let's say somehow you magically do, that 200 mile trip would take 2 hours 30 minutes. And comparing to 70 mile an hour, you save 21 minutes. Compared to 60, that's 50. Compared to 50 mile an hour, that's 1 hour and 30 minutes. But that efficiency is brutal. You're using 63% more energy than at 50 mile an hour, so you're burning dramatically more range. Drop that down, and you only lose 21 minutes driving at 70 mile an hour. That's a steep improvement for a very small loss in time. So, the biggest time saving happens between 50 and 60 mile an hour. After that, every extra 10 miles per hour gives you diminishing returns in time, but accelerates the loss in efficiency. And when you factor in charging times on longer EV trips, higher speeds can actually cancel out their own time savings because you'll stop sooner and possibly for longer. But back to my situation. My usage pattern is 1.5 miles up to the dual carriageway, my battery's cold, the cabin heating is working hard, 10 to 15 minutes of driving, switch off, repeat. The car never properly settles into its efficient cruising state, so yes, my 319 watt hour per mile average isn't because the 2026 rear-wheel drive is inefficient, it's because short, cold journeys are brutal for EV efficiency, especially in winter. Now, final thoughts. This test reassured me. The car isn't as bad as my old performance, it's actually significantly better when driven properly. But it has highlighted something. On my short daily runs, I'm probably using around 40% more energy than I need to be. And when you look at the motorway maths, the real sweet spot isn't as fast as possible. It's somewhere around 60 to 65 miles per hour, where you're saving meaningful time without destroying efficiency. Unfortunately, physics always wins. If you found this useful, let me know your average watt hour per mile and what speed you typically cruise at. I'm curious how it compares. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.